Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 29 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick, and from time to time, I'm known as the Orbital Alliance here on the internet.
And I'm just Tan, also known as Chasing the Milk.
Oh, yeah, Nick and Tan in the house, his house, here today to bring you guys the latest and greatest content about space and astronomy in podcast format. So just want to thank you for tuning in tonight, either live or on replay, whatever you are doing. We always appreciate having our friends tune in here on YouTube for a live chat session in the comments. We'd like to engage with you guys and hang out with you as you are here to engage with a greater space community. It's always a good time. So thanks for tuning in.
Welcome in, welcome in. Christian girl, what up?
Yo, what's going on, Angie? Welcome in, Kayla.
in.
Hello. Welcome in, friends who are tuning in. You guys, episode 29. We're rounding up to the 3 zeros here shortly. That'll be next week, which will be Christmas week.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
That's a lot of episodes.
It is. It so is, man. We have some maybe extra special plans for next week to get into the holiday spirit. So you guys just hang on to your hats. So we get crazy up in here.
It is. So glad I made it this Monday. Yeah, I think Christian girl, Angie, is this your first time over here? We were talking about this over on the talk. I was trying to get people to come over in case TikTok gets banned.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
we should talk about that in a little bit, actually. What's up, Tans Night Rain? Welcome in.
All right. The squad is rolling in. Welcome in, guys. Second? Okay, cool. Awesome.
So, cool. Tan, do you want to update us on how wild your weekend was? Because you had a crazy weekend, dude. Crazy month?
Yeah. Sure. Well, a month ago, TikTok launched this campaign called the Live Fest. And it's basically just a red carpet Grammy Award kind of event for TikTok creators like me and others. And it's just a way for creators and their communities to celebrate. It's a big party that's hosted in person in LA. And it was just a grind. It basically just entailed a bunch of live streaming, a bunch of not sleep, a lot of streaming and not a lot of sleeping, unhealthy. I don't know. It was just it was a grind. But it was cool. It was cool because our team ended up pulling through and we made it through the finish line. And what that means is I will be attending TikTok Live Fest 2025. So I'll be out in Los Angeles in January.
Yeah, you will be. Dude, huge congratulations. Okay, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who's listening, for wherever you are, Tan is wildly underselling his efforts here. Like this man was live like 20 hours a day just to compete, just to have a competing edge in this thing. Because I don't think many people, I certainly didn't, I don't think many people realize how much streaming time it takes to draw the support that you need to be competitive in TikTok Live Fest. I was trying to be there as often as I possibly could to see what Tan was doing, popping into live streams for a couple minutes here or an hour there or whatever. But I mean, literally, this guy was streaming all the time. Like, he was streaming while he was out for walks. He was streaming at night from his computer. Yeah, I mean, like, he was streaming eating pho, dude. Like, like all the time for like a month. And we were talking about it, and he's been getting so much support. It's like wild levels of support from his following and the people who just love his content. And people have been showing up like crazy to support Tan. And that is the key and the ticket to winning this thing. So him going live is like the train tracks, but if you want to get anywhere, like you need to have people on the train, dude. Like that's exactly what happened. Like people were showing up, giving gifts and helping him in live battles, all this crazy stuff that actually is quantifiable to TikTok as a creator worthy of earning the points that they use as a metric. And dude has just been like killing it. Like you legitimately, man, you were competitive and you were in the running for all this stuff. Like, I mean, if you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't have made the top 20 the other day to earn that spot to Live Fest.
Yes, correct.
Absolutely crazy. Like, so you can't sleep on the job for this. And Tan was up all night. Like, even though it ended at midnight Pacific time last night, I was watching until like about 12:30 in the morning and trying to see the last few hours of it. But then I fell asleep. And I woke up at like 3:45 or something like that. I checked my phone and Tan's streaming again. He's like sitting just like this. He's sitting at his desk with his mic at like 3:45, 4 in the morning. And I'm like, bro is still going. Like, and I'm sitting in bed like, So he's abandoned all, rest and recovery for a very long time. And the finish line was last night. So again, I'm going to sing your praises, man, because you had a long, hard run, and you so deserve this like big fat W, this big win, to get to go to Live Fest, because that doesn't go to people who sleep, on their jobs. That's somebody who works hard. And I also mentioned to you too. I'm gonna keep talking because that's what I do.
I'm just here.
Yeah. Blabbermouth Nick at it again. No, but I was talking to you at one point, and I was like, dude, the reason you're doing so well here is not because, I think it was because you had expressed that you were concerned that while you've been streaming recently, that you're just sitting there and people are staring at your face and they're like throwing money at you and and support. And I'm like, dude, they're not giving you money because they're staring at your face behind a camera right now. They're giving you money for the 4+ years of consistent delivery across your TikTok account, your social media pages, and you've been streaming and you've been teaching people about astronomy. You've been inviting them in no matter what their backgrounds are or their education level. You've been including people in a greater journey than just making stupid videos for an addictive video app. You've been enriching people's lives, and people feel that on a deeper level. That's why people are supporting you. And that is like, you put that work in across 4 years, not across just this 1 month. So like, I believe that to my core, that you've been doing like a really amazing work for such a long time. And hence why I say that you deserve every bit of your success. So hats off to you, sir. Well done.
Dude, thank you so much. I'm super grateful for you, man. I actually needed to hear that because we were talking about this in one of the streams, and I was telling people how for a long time it took me a long time to be able to accept gifts, because I just never it was always just a stream. So when I remember when someone sent me like my first Galaxy, and I think that's like, I don't know, $10 maybe, or $5, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking, holy crap, like, don't do that again. Like, it's like, this is cool. Like, you guys can just enjoy the stream, like, no worries. And fast forward, I became okay with it because I understand that there are some people that are afford to able, they can afford to tip, they can afford to gift, and they just simply want to support. But during I'd say the last 2 weeks of this push, I felt that again, because this time those galaxies were like astronomically larger. It took me back to square one, where I'm like, hold on, like, this is a lot of support that are coming this way. And like, and again, I'm just sitting here like talking to the camera, and I felt that, like, I felt, not that, I don't know if I felt, if feeling bad was the right word, but it just felt like I felt like I should have been doing something, like should have been juggling or cracking jokes. And it was unfortunate because most of my streams, during the campaign, we didn't have really good weather. So I was kind of limited to sitting behind the camera. I really wanted to stream the Geminids, which is one of the biggest streams that I could do on my platform, but we were clouded out. Moon wasn't out. So I felt bad that I was just sitting here and people were just dumping all this support on me. and I felt that same instant where I'm like, I don't know if I feel okay doing this.
Mhm.
But to kind of go to it where you were saying, you're right, man. It's more than just me sitting there. So I appreciate you saying that.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my god.
Oh, dude. Hang on, everybody.
I'm feeling it again, dude. I'm feeling it again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna eventually get words out of my mouth. Artie Jones.
Wait a second. Is that Richard Jones? Oh my god.
Dropping in 10 gifted the Orbital Alliance memberships here on YouTube. Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
If you're in the
Thank
if
you.
you're in the chat right now, it's likely that you have received a gifted membership to the channel in support of the Galactic Window. Huge thank you for doing that. That is a massive support to us, and also an encouragement to all the people who are tuning in to the show tonight. My goodness.
That's
Thank
wild.
you.
MVP, yeah.
Yes, MVPs in the chat, please. Wow.
I wasn't expecting to see you over here. Jones?
Oh, Ron Colson. Oh, it's been such a long time, man. Welcome in. Hey, and you got a membership. Best night to come back to. That's awesome.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Sweet.
Wow.
You get some of those. So let's explain what this means, because last week we kind of unveiled this whole membership thing. We won't spend too much time on it, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of some information here. So we've been talking a lot about ways that you guys can be supporting the Galactic Window Space podcast, and here are the 3 ways that you can do that. One, you can engage by watching our videos, being here every week, just like you are. Even if it's live or in the replays, that's fine. Make sure you're subscribed to the Orbital Alliance channel here on YouTube so that you can catch those episodes. And the number 2 is that you can now give what are called supers. Super thanks, super chats, super stickers. You can find those on the side by the live chat, or later under the replay video. I think there's a thanks button. And basically those are like tips, like little donations. It's like, hey, I love what you're doing. I can financially support you, and I would love to do that. You can do it that way. The other way is to join and become a member, which is what Artie Jones just did for us. Gave us
10 memberships.
10 memberships. So
yeah,
basically this is kind of like Patreon, if you're familiar with that. It's like a paid subscription where you pay a small amount every month and you get perks, and those perks increase as you increase your tier of support. So there are 2 tiers that exist right now: suborbital, kind of like suborbital spaceflight, and orbital, which is like orbital spaceflight, which are all references and allusions to the Orbital Alliance, blah, 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 rockets and spaceflight. So with those tiers, you get special perks. So the suborbital one, you get a special badge next to your name in the live chat. You can see a lot of the folks here have those little stars. And then they have also the ability to do special emotes, which are going to be changing out over time. So if you guys have access to those emotes, drop a few of them in the chat right now. You'll then get special access to community posts that are exclusive to members. So as you follow me on YouTube, you get to see those community posts in your feed. So you might get sneak previews or ask for suggestions for what we should talk about in future episodes, things like that. You also get access to member-only videos. So I just put one out recently for members. So if you are a member, please go and watch the member-only videos. I put one out that's a 9-minute kind of chat with me explaining what all this means and a little bit of a tease into what we're planning in 2025. So cool stuff like that. And then if you go into the orbital tier, you get even cooler perks. You get everything from the suborbital tier, and also you get the opportunity to be on future episodes of the Galactic Window Space Podcast in small little ways. Like you get to participate in a game with us, and you get to make more, or you get to have maybe a short little peer into your Galactic Window interview with me and Tan. So maybe we'll pull you onto the stream for like 10 minutes and we'll have a little chat. So we like to do that. We want to include you guys more in what we do. And this is the best way to do that. But it also gives us the opportunity to take the podcast to the next level in 2025. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of really cool plans to go places, to travel, to bring on guests that have perhaps a fee to book them. Like these things that you are funding us for are going to go directly to making the show better for you guys. So the more learning we can get, the more fun we can have, the more interesting we make the show, like everybody wins. So thank you in advance, and for in retroactivity for those of you who have supported and for those of you who will support. We appreciate it. So just wanted to kind of make you guys aware of what we're doing there. Oh my gosh.
You guys rock.
Seriously. So you know what I should do, man? Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick shout out to everybody who supported us so far.
Yeah, please.
So here's all of our members. So we got Buddy Red, Anthony Parrott, Sid the Kid, Papa Rick, the Trading Photographer, Eric, Harmony, Star Walking, Tanzanite Rain, SoCal Gloria, Punky. And it is not that's Punky 0683. That is not including the people who just got stuff tonight, because it does not populate for me immediately. Usually takes like a day or two before I start seeing everybody. So new members, I will put you in future episodes. People who have gifted us supers, I'm going to read that really quick. Hang on. Super short time. Okay. We got Zaliro, Lady Nerdette, Tiffy, Blue Eyed, Alexander McCarthy, Star Walking, Pretty Little Poison, Narwhal Puppet, and Star Woman. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel and the podcast. Every bit matters, no matter how big or small. And I promise we'll steward it well as we go into the new year with new opportunities.
Love it. I want to give Artie Jones just a quick shout out. I love this so much. A little stardust goes out to the universe. I'm here on the regular. Thank you.
Yes.
So freaking much.
Thank you.
Also, this is, I don't know how important this is to you, but it's important to me.
It is very important to me. Yes, please. That will be added immediately as soon as I get my hands on it. Yeah, we should find a way to coordinate.
Yeah. Tanzanite said, for the listeners out there, Nick, can I send you Tan's ah emote to add?
Oh, dude, it like lagged out on you for a second. Can you do that again? There you go. I think my internet took a little dive there for a second. Hopefully I didn't buffer out.
Awesome.
But yeah, we're that's the thing, is we're going to be sprucing up the tiers over time. This is kind of like on-ramping. And these benefits will likely shift around, get better, change. There's just like things. Also the orbital tier, I forgot to mention, like I'm going to be giving astrophoto wallpapers of photos that we've taken. And so you guys can like get some free stuff for your phone and your computer that's like high quality and unique space astrophoto stuff, so you can look at cool stuff every time you log in for work or log in at home, whatever it is. Make your computer
exciting.
Level up your computer and level up your phone. Who wouldn't want that?
Dude, I'm excited. I'm trying to think back of the first episode I did with you where you had me on, and fast forwarding to now. Would you say, like, for me, I don't think this is kind of what I expected. Like, I had an idea of what the podcast would look like, but the kind of guests that we've had on here, and I would say just our production value. If you watch my first episode compared to now, it is completely night and day. Just the audio, the lighting, the quality. What do you think? Would you say this is kind of what you had predicted, or?
Yeah. First of all, I should have looked at the date, but the
Oh, hold on.
Yo, one more coming in.
All right.
Artie Jones gifted one membership. Oh my gosh. That's 11 for the night. Thank you.
Wow.
Maybe that'll go straight to Angie. There, I don't know. I wish I could distribute that. Maybe it will auto.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
Did you get it, Angie? Did it come through? But to answer your question, man, so you're just to reiterate, you want to know, did things turn out how I thought they would, dating back to when you and I did our first episode together?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So I should have called it out when we hit that point in the show, but it's been over a year since your first episode. You were on at the end of November last year.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. You were episode 4, and you were on at the back end of November. It was like the end of the month. So yeah, it was a year ago, officially, a year and some change now. And I think the thing that I wanted to really nail was kind of the programming of the show, was to have things to be doing, and to kind of improve on the formula, which is just a conversation. But I didn't know what to say at the top of the show. I didn't know how to close it. I didn't know what to do in the middle. Like I'm like, oh, let's just ramble and see where it goes. I feel like we've done so much experimenting with intros, having some fun intros, doing games, having planned topics to talk about, just like things like that. That programming aspect of it feels night and day different from back then to now to me. Like I feel like we have so much more. It's a loose structure, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's an oxymoron or not, but I feel like there's a little bit more intention and there's some drive behind the reasoning. There's a lot more strategy behind what happens in every episode compared to back then. And certainly, yeah, I think things look better. I think I like my camera shot and background, everything is way tighter, looks way nicer. Yours looks so different from when you were on, and even just from when you started, like it's evolved. And I think, oh, and not to mention we've got the video background now. That was like a thing we didn't have here. It's just a still image before. Those have kind of evolved, but yeah, I think I've been rambling, but I think I would say, yes, I absolutely agree. I feel like things look very different. Things look way better. Things feel way better. And overall, I think it's a stronger program. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, agreed. I'm sure if we fast forward to, let's just say, even like next summer, and we come back to this episode, we could probably say, oh, wow, we've improved a lot too. Hopefully. But yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to show people some of the behind the scenes too, because I don't know. I feel like everything that we put into the back end of this could be its own little podcast. Like, especially, for example, especially whenever you came out to do our in-person episode, like that was a lot just to get it running. And the thing is, people don't realize that. They just kind of tune in. They get the notification that we're live, and they're like, oh, it's Nick and Tan. They're in person. But everything before that, leading up to that, was just so much. And same thing can be said for even tonight and every other night, where we're like 30 minutes to an hour before we stream talking about the show and preparing. And yeah, there's a lot.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I wonder if I should do like an extra camera. I've got a video switcher plugged in here that takes 4 cameras, and I wonder if I should plug in a second camera in a future week where it's like an over the shoulder, like back here or something, and I'll cut to it eventually, or every now and then, occasionally. That's the word I'm looking for. And you can see like the whole room from the other angles. You guys get sort of the behind the scenes look. I think that'd be pretty crazy. You'll see the mess of cables that's under here. Everything looks pretty in this little box. It's all colorful. Yeah. There's cool stuff back here. I'm well lit from the side, but like if you turn it around, it's like C stands and like looks like a cable monster vomited under here.
Bro,
what?
Bro. Jeez. Holy crap. Oh, God.
Artie Jones. Thank you.
Dude,
dropping another 5 memberships available to those who tune in. If you guys know people who normally tune in who aren't here, share the link with them tonight so they can come in and claim their free membership. We should spam some people so they get it. Wow, the generosity is off the chain. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah,
that's 16 gifted memberships.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Thank you so much.
Holy smokes.
MVP's in the chat. Sometimes I have a hard time of like when I stream on TikTok and then when I stream here, sometimes there's this overlap and I don't want it to be the same thing, and I'm used to just like I'm trying to make it so this isn't just a normal like TikTok chasing the milk stream. I have to be mindful that there's you and there's a completely whole different vibe here. So
right,
I'm just like, let's go, MVPs in the chat. Everyone throw some stars in the chat.
But that's great though. That's what feels real. That's who you are. It's what you do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Jones was trying to get Angie one. Oh, I appreciate it so much. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be an auto distribute that just is going to just pick and choose.
Who's getting them though? Who's getting them?
Right,
guys. If you just got a membership, will you please just say it in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Please say hi. Yeah.
Gosh, need an MVP emote. We do. We should. Let's move some of those that Tan's got over here, and we can make that happen. Um,
Very cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
Sweet. Well, moving on in the program here, it's been fun to hang out with you guys here and just kind of vibe off the energy wave. We had a couple things planned for tonight, so let's talk about it. Episode 29. We're going to talk about Astro Hot Takes, meaning what are the things that we might consider to be a hot take in the space world, and these maybe reflect our own opinions, maybe not, maybe the opinions of others. But we thought, hey, let's get controversial up in here. Let's ruffle some feathers. Let's get people fired up a bit. And this is not like a let's take people down, but let's talk about things that get you thinking.
I like it. Should I put on my tinfoil hat?
If you got one laying around, you should put on your tinfoil hat. That's right.
We should have one of those nights.
Okay. Yes, we absolutely should.
I'm picturing the movie Signs.
Yeah.
We should.
Well, now you're giving me ideas. Let's talk about that after the show, because you just put something in my head.
Got the gears turning. All right.
Yeah, the gears are turning. We're also going to talk about astrophoto fails, because one of the things that we've kind of surfaced quite a bit with a lot of our guests here and in our own discussions is that people who are astrophotographers, they often create these amazing images with their cameras in the night sky, but we often just share the photos that worked. There's always times where we tend to mess up, though. Like, things happen, the clouds come in, we were out of focus, we changed the setting at the last second, and we didn't get the shot that we set up or planned weeks or months to do, and you waste this one opportunity to get something. I thought it'd be fun if Tan and I shared a few of those moments, so we're going to do that tonight. We've got some evidence, so we're going to show off some video and maybe some photos of ways that we've messed up, essentially. Let's show the nasty side of things, Tan.
I like it.
Not everything is pretty up in here. And then we thought a fun way to kind of hand off the show to episode 30 next week, the week of Christmas, would be to pitch a few Christmas gift ideas for those of you who are late in the game for buying presents for folks that you care about, maybe the astro nerd in your life. We thought, hey, let's throw a few ideas out there if you're looking for something to pick up with the last week or so of Christmas shopping. So we've got your back. We've got some plans for you guys. So hang in there until the end of the episode for that.
Sorry, I'm just reading this comment here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about the flat earther who was proved wrong and admitted it?
Wait, what? That's impossible, right? Oh man, that's good. Yeah, dude. Well, here, let's kick it off.
Let's do it.
A hot take. I got one for you.
Okay.
Hot take that I see quite a bit. Obviously, a lot of what we're focusing on here in the spaceflight world is getting off planet Earth, right? Like we've been spending a lot of decades trying to get humans off of the surface. We got to the moon for a little bit, like a couple of weeks worth of cumulative moon missions. We spent a ton of time in low Earth orbit, with space stations and satellite deployments and repairs. But the eyes of the future have been set on permanent lunar bases and permanent Mars colonies. And I feel like I see quite a bit of hubbub shifting around on the the internet, discussing which is more viable, which is more worthy of our hard-earned money, and which one is going to be a total failure or not. And I see a lot of people, of course, in support of companies like SpaceX, whose mission is to make life multiplanetary, meaning their focus is Mars, right? And SpaceX currently dominates the commercial spaceflight industry, so they have the most momentum in that direction. So their goal is to get to Mars, and they are also supplementing NASA's missions to the moon with Artemis. They're creating some components for their program as well. It's not, they're contracted for that, but their own mission is to get to Mars. But I see a lot of people who think that trying to go to Mars is an absolute waste of time. Total waste of money, resources, a lot of an insane amount of risk of failure and human life at stake. So a lot of people are like, Mars is a hot take. Like, let's focus on the moon first. And I think, here's my question then. Does that put a damper on the spirit of human exploration? Should we colonize the moon first over Mars, or should we shoot further, colonize Mars, and then worry about the moon? What do you think, Tan?
I say we shoot for Mars.
Mm-hmm.
It's I understand both sides of the coin here, but it's also, I feel like you have to kind of see the bigger picture too. And again, this is just simply my perspective. I think there is going to be a time where we're going to have to entertain the idea of getting off this planet, whether we had some kind of like a cataclysmic event, or it's just we're on Earth's last leg, and whatever that looks like, it's time where we start focusing on going elsewhere. If we were to kind of like downplay any of those ideas or pushes, then yeah, we might be screwed. We might be left like, well, I don't know what to do. We just have to kind of just go down here. Whereas if we maybe make an effort now, maybe we get people interested, we can kind of position ourselves where when we have to cross that bridge, we are one either somewhat prepared, or maybe we are even capable of having conversations like that on a much higher level. So yes, I think it's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one because I think most people are going to say, they're going to argue, dude, we've got so many problems right now. Why would you take all this money, all that money that you could use for figuring out how to go into space and go to Mars? This homeless guy could probably use that, or these veterans, or I mean, the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a tough one for me. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you had, like your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I see a lot of what you're suggesting, just regarding spaceflight in general. Maybe the hotter take is a lot of people will claim that spaceflight, period, is a massive waste and completely not worth it. We shouldn't do it at all, and all that those billions of dollars should be spent towards, curing diseases, eliminating the homeless problem, helping people be fed, and eliminating poverty and starving families. And they're not wrong. Those are all incredibly important problems that need to be addressed and need to be solved. I don't think spaceflight is the only thing that should be taking the brunt force of that, like that hit.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like why is spaceflight the villain all of a sudden? It would be my follow-up question. Because it certainly hasn't harmed humanity, in the long run. It has increased technological advancements that have benefited every human on planet Earth. Devices in our home, medical devices, medical advancements, cures for diseases, home construction. I mean, the list of NASA spin-offs, as they call them, the things that like space flight programs have helped benefit. Those things are numerous. They issue an annual report that talks about all the things that have benefited humanity from space flight R&D, which is really cool. But I think it's too bold of a claim to say let's eliminate space flight and focus on our problems here, because we would also find a way to squander that money here in a totally different way. Let's just be honest.
For sure. 100%.
Right? Like, it's just not. We're irresponsible as a species, period. Like, it's never going to be allocated 100% the right way, because spaceflight money isn't the only money out there, right? Like, there's money spent there, like the United States, defense budget. It's like, what is it, like $1 trillion or something like that? Like
something crazy.
That's like 1,000 times more than what we're talking about with the space flight, NASA's budget. Like, you can do so much more by like not building tanks and bombs and missiles and ammunition and all that stuff. That's all important. You shouldn't cut it out altogether. But you could do 1,000 times more impact eliminating a lot of that. And then that's just one department. Like, let alone go down the list. Like, it takes some money from everything. So anyway, like, I think going back to the surface question here, I don't think we should eliminate spaceflight altogether for the sake of human development, because I think you do gain some from space flight. Should we prioritize Mars over the moon? I think that we have the opportunity to cater to both. I just don't think certain companies or organizations should operate on both at the same time necessarily. And I could be very wrong about that. Maybe that's my own hot take. I think there are companies that should focus on one and others that should focus on the other, moon or Mars, because the marketplace for lunar colonization, Mars colonization, is not exclusive to one company. I think commercial sector governments should step up in a way that diversifies that and allows us to do as much as possible at the same time. And look at the last 50 years where we have done nothing when we had the opportunity to do so. Why would we limit ourselves to just one lottery ticket? Like, open up as many channels as you can, and there's plenty of money. Like, we all know there's enough money in the world. Like, we can find a way to make it work. I don't think money is the issue. I think it's will, and I think it's personal interest that gets in the way. But I think the human spirit of exploration, the human spirit to explore, should be encouraged, because we are a pretty comfortable generation, and we don't like to do things that are like that dangerous, most of us. And I think we do still need some people, some fraction of the human population that's fired up to go explore crazy places like the moon, and even crazier places like Mars. So I would refute it all. I'd say go to both, but don't make it exclusive to one group or organization. That's my answer.
Interesting. Yeah. I think it's still a tough one for me, because I'm reading some of the comments here, and I like I said, I understand both sides too.
Yeah. I think the money topic makes things quite messy pretty quickly. Because, of course, any individual or organization that has access to said money has a lot of opportunity to do, beneficial things or harmful things to people by choosing to allocate money here or there. And yeah, I think oftentimes it's easy to, like, I'm trying to think the right way to word it. Like, hope that people will put money here instead of there. But I would say most of the time, it's just not going to happen the way we want it to, which is a bummer, because oftentimes we want our interests to be, pushed to the finish line. And that's not a bad thing. It's just different. But yeah, you never know. I think when it comes to space flight, I think there will always be opportunity, and people will always find a way. I don't think we'll skip the moon or we'll skip Mars. It's not gonna be like, oh, well, let's just save the money. I definitely don't think that'll be the case. I think the right people will come along, and maybe it'll take a generation. Maybe we need to move on from this one, and we'll all be 6 feet under before the right people come along to make certain things happen. And that's okay. Like, if that's the pathway that we need to take, then let it be.
Yeah.
Do you have any other space hot takes? Anything maybe related to like telescopes? It could be something more on the ground level, less big picture. Anything that you came up with, man?
To be honest, no.
It's okay. Yeah.
Help me out, chat. What do you guys think?
Ooh, okay. Let's gauge
Can I
your
phone a friend? Yeah.
Let's gauge your preference on this. Here's a hot take.
Okay.
Well, this is just preferential, and this is really not backed up by too much. I'm gonna pitch out there. Let's help you make a hot take. Let's go this route. Refractors or reflector telescopes? Which do you think is the better telescope, and do you think it's a hot take?
That's a good question. I don't know if hot take would be. Well, to first pick one, I think I would go. I mean, it kind of just depends. Maybe I'm gonna go with reflector, just because that's kind of like there's a few of those laying around in my house versus the other. But Is it a hot take? I think it just depends on what you're trying to do in terms of visual or imaging, and I think that's the deciding factor.
Yeah.
I think most would argue that if you're going to be imaging, then you would choose the refractor, and then if you need a little bit of light power for visual observations, I think most would pick a reflector.
Hmm.
But that's where I'm at with that.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, that one's tough. It's like it comes down to what you want to be trying to get, what kind of results you want. And I suppose it doesn't matter. But I was curious. I'm like, I know some of your equipment. I've seen some of it, and I was like, I wonder if he's got like a like no, like reflectors all the way, man. Like,
I usually do lean towards reflectors for sure.
Mhm.
Like I'm a big fan of the Dobsonian telescopes, which
Yeah.
are basically Newtonian reflectors just on a rocker base.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a good one.
Here's one I got one that's unique to me. This is not someone else's hot take. I do have a space hot take. Um, Single exposures over stacked exposures, in my opinion, especially when it comes to like wide field. I'm not talking about deep sky stuff. I'm talking about Milky Way shots.
Hmm.
I much prefer to chase the best single exposure photo that I can get, instead of taking a series of photos and stacking them in post to create a less noisy
Mm.
picture. Um, I I appreciate what the technique does of stacking images, and people use it and they get brighter stars, less noise, darker backgrounds. Like they get, you know, whatever it is, cool foregrounds and stuff. Like, and I've done a little bit of it myself. I'm not saying I'm against it. However, I think in terms of when I go out shooting, I have the most fun as an astrophotographer trying to get the best shot in one take, one photo, one image, and then
Mm.
that's it. It's like it's a higher challenge for me, because in my eyes, I see stacked photos as a maybe a workaround to. I don't
Hold
know.
up, bro.
Yeah,
Hold up. No,
yeah, right. See, this is what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Let's stir the pot a little bit. I know. I just prefer the challenge of trying to get the best shot in one, and then I can edit it and just do that versus like doing all this extra stuff to.
It's cheating.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's really nothing wrong. It's. I'm not saying the other method is valueless. It's very important, and it does yield better results a lot of the time. I just much prefer to go out and try to do the best with a single take. So that's my hot take.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. So for the listeners that just to kind of give you like a 101, there are so many techniques when it comes to imaging the night sky, and what we're talking about is taking a single exposure image, which means you just hit the camera button once, it collects a bunch of light, and then you end up with a one photo. A stacked or a series of stacked photos means you take a bunch of photos. So instead of taking that one long photo, you take maybe 20 shorter photos, and then you combine all of those photos into one final photo. So what you're doing is you're basically getting more data in each one, and then combining it to get, uh, in a way, get more data. So I don't have a problem with either. I think it's preference. I know people who are really hard on the most natural way, which is taking that one photo. Anything else they would consider like cheating. And I, not to get too carried away, I am a big fan of compositions or blending, which means you take two photos and you combine it into one. A lot of photographers hate this and they'll say, "Oh, well, you're taking two different photos and making it into one. It's not the same thing, or you're taking away from it." And I see it as, well, for one, both of those photos were taken in the same exact spot. I am just simply focusing on the sky, and on the other one, I am simply focusing on the tree. And then now, when I combine the two, I have this sky looking really good, and then I have the tree looking really well. And you sometimes can't do that when you take just one photo.
Mhm.
So I think it's just up to the artist. It's up to the photographer.
Mhm.
And what I will say is this: I think it is important to let people know what you're doing. I see a lot of times people post these insane photos, and then they just won't say like, "Oh, I actually added this Saturn to it to make it look like this," or "I added these things." They just post it as is, And then what happens? People like normies or just regular viewers will look at, yeah,
Yeah.
people will look at those photos and say, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful! I can't believe you can do that." And they're getting the it's a wrong it's not really accurate. So you're kind of like misleading.
Hmm.
So I kind of went on a little tangent, but I think it's up to the photographer. It's up to the artist.
Yeah, for sure. And to first of all, brilliant explanation on all that stuff. I definitely appreciate focus stacking because that's, in my opinion, a little different than noise reduction stacking.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I agree. It is up to the artist, and like there may be days when I'm gonna want to do stacking just because I feel like it's the best thing for that particular shot. Like again, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying the way I prefer. I'm like, oh yeah, if I had a chance to go out and shoot Milky Way tonight, I'm gonna go out and do single exposures. It's just what I like to do, and I think most people who are trying to get the best possible shots, anybody on the internet, they'd probably jump on me immediately for saying that. They'd be like, dude, why aren't you stacking images to reduce the noise?
Hmm.
And to get the best shot. I'm like, well, I just don't want to. It's a hot take, bro.
It is.
Like
It
that's
is.
that's all it is. Like I appreciate the strategies, and I've done them before, so it's totally not something I'm against. It's just like, no, I just like to one.
It's a
Yeah,
hot
yeah,
take.
yeah. Johnny Rock's jumping in the chat here saying one and done. That's what I'm talking about. One and done. You know. Well, because I think to your point, Tan. Sorry, I'm jumping there again.
Please.
You said like some people will share photos and they won't be like completely transparent for how they got the shot. And I think a lot of people assume, most people rightfully so, don't understand that a lot of space photos are composites or they're stacks of shots. So they're combined sometimes 2, 3, 5, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of photos to get something. And they just assume you literally just like your phone, hit a button, hit snap, and then they have this brilliant, amazing photo. But they did
Yeah.
all this extra bonus work that you've know nothing about. They spent hours and hours, maybe days, trying to create this composite image, and they share it as one flattened final product. And so it gives the illusion that you created one photo, and it's not. So I think I kind of like to eliminate the risk of misconception. We're like, no, it is one shot. This product I made is just one shot, so it's one photo. I did snap this photo, so to speak.
Yeah.
I always like to feel that, but it is a bummer, and I do appreciate people who do talk about, like Andrew McCarthy, who was on our show at the top of November. He is very transparent with how many photos go into his shots. Like he'll be like, this took 50,000 photos of the moon to make this gigapixel picture, of this high res picture of the moon or something. He'll tell you exactly how many photos went into it, and it's an insane amount. But most
Hmm.
people don't know what that means. They don't get it, and that's okay because they're not everyone's immersed in this hobby. But I think it sort of simplifies things when you go with the single shot route. People just understand that a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm curious to think what your take is on like AI and space art. Now that that's a thing,
Mm-hmm.
is just I, I I don't know if you've ever messed with AI in space, but you could type in a few prompts. So, for example, maybe I can type in Saturn floating next to the Milky Way with some shooting stars in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and then the AI will kind of take those keywords and formulate what it thinks that would look like, and a lot of it is insanely cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is that considered like? Would you say like what's the hot take on that? Like, would you say that's could that person go out and sell that? Could
Hmm.
that person monetize off of that one photo?
Man, I wasn't ready for this one, but I also am. I feel like that's a really good proposed question there. So I think, do you want to talk about the AI problem in general, or how it pertains to the sales of astronomical imagery?
Man, both are tough.
Maybe they're kind of one and the same, um, because I think it depends on where the AI is sourcing its material from. It's grabbing and pulling from
True.
sources.
Yeah.
If it's transparent and who it's pulling imagery from to create this image, then I think if you can credit those people and source the funding to the right place. So if I was to generate an image and it referenced 100 different artists' shots, and then I sold that photo, like I'm told, hey, you got to pay rights to these 100 people here's how much you have to pay them, then figure that out. I feel like then it'd be okay. But I
I
think
don't think that's a thing though, is it?
it's definitely not.
Yeah. I'm sure some of our images might have been used, whether it's just a tiny little portion of a photo that you have on,
hmm
TikTok or wherever. Who knows, man?
Yeah, and when you said that, I kind of had a little bit of a community service spark like pop into me, because I know like Adobe's been having that big problem recently where people have been reading the fine print,
I've heard about that. Yeah, super interesting.
where they're saying, hey, if you use our Creative Suite at all, any project that you're doing, personal, professional, anything, is legally being put into the pool of AI sourcing. So any of our content, generative fill, content aware um, applications or plugins or anything like that, they're going to be sourced from everyone's projects ever. So I'm like, hey, that's a really powerful tool. Could be doing really cool things. Maybe I should try it, and maybe I'll make something really cool out of it. But I have in the back of my mind to thank millions of creators, and I would wonder, like, what if somebody's able to make something really cool, genuinely really cool, and they're proud of it. It's hard work, and they implement content generated AI generated content into their project, and they make something really neat. Like, is that a community service if they like pull some of my stuff and it uses it? Like, it probably won't be recognizable, but it's data that I've offered maybe against my will. But like, I'm maybe helping somebody out. Maybe I'm helping millions of people out with their projects and I just don't know it. Like, can
Yeah.
you be okay with that and actually just be like, hey, that makes me feel good. Like somebody has the opportunity to make art because I went out and took a picture and I was editing it today, or whatever.
That's a good way to look at it. I don't know if this would be a similar like example. I mean, could you argue that music is the same way?
Mm.
For example, like I create a song and it sounds a certain way. It's really catchy. Someone hears the song, gets inspiration, and there are only 12 notes, and it, you know, um, could could that be the similar thing? Could they? I mean, they're not stealing my song, but maybe they could listen to it and pull things from it and say, "Oh, well, this is my rendition of it, or this is my version of it." Is that kind of the same thing? It's not physically. It's not a tangible thing,
Right.
but it's kind of the same concept, isn't it?
You're painting with the same paints,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. Like music notes are only so numerous. The patterns in which you can put them in order are only so numerous. Like, yeah, I wish there was a playbook we could just buy at the store, man, and put into functionality with all these rules. Because this is why it's so messy. Because every single person can have a different opinion about it, and it's not necessarily that they're all wrong either. I would like to err on the side of optimism and to be like, yeah, I think we can all contribute and make something really cool, because I think the art of AI generation is really cool. It is a really cool achievement for human development, human technology. I think we should see how far it should go. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, how far it should go. And there is only a way to try that and to test it. So, I mean, maybe I will consent to it for now, unless people are literally pixel for pixel taking my images and selling it and making their own. Then I'll start being really concerned. But if it's like getting warped and twisted until it's unrecognizable, I mean, there's probably millions of people who've taken pictures of the moon and have edited them in Photoshop or Lightroom. So AI has sourced those moons, and they've generated a new moon image from a million different moon photos. That Steve somebody in Georgia or something wants to make a moon image, clicks generate and types in moon, clicks generate, and they get a picture of the moon. Like, should I be mad because it's the culmination of a million different moon photos, or did I merely contribute mere pixels and color data to somebody else's beautiful art? Maybe this Steve guy is like the next artistic legend. And they just made something amazing. Like, should I be proud that maybe I offered a little piece to this revolution? I don't know.
I agree. That was a good. Yeah, that was well said. Let me kind of like hang out from the other end and tell me what you think.
Do it.
Let's say I am editing a birthday video, and then my 2-year-old child is in the video.
Mm.
what Adobe is saying is basically, hey, no matter what you do, offline or what, we have access to this and we will use it for AI. I don't know how I would feel about my private personal videos being there to use. Sure, they could use it for AI, but that's basically saying they will have access to that.
Right.
I don't know if I want anyone having my personal stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's where people draw the line is sure we get that you need it for AI, but there's no there's no reason for you to need our offline stuff, like everything.
Hmm.
Maybe
Right.
there should be like a pool where if you work on certain things, then yeah, you are contributing by allowing the software or the developers to use it, and then there should be a separate. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There should be like just an offline version like of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, dude, that's like a oof.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You really hit the like the nerve on that one because yeah, people with children, you know, it's like trying to maintain privacy for your family, you know, or whatever it is. Like that's like super important to a lot of people. You know, I know people who do not want to post anything to Facebook or anything of their kids. So there's others who are the exact opposite. They post pictures of their kids every day. This is what my child did. This is their birthday. This is their first day of school. This is their graduation. This da 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 da. There's hundreds of pictures of their kids' childhood on Facebook, and you don't know what AI service is pulling that data and selling it somewhere, or like you know putting it into a generation, and someone else is going to use your kid's face on a an advertisement somewhere that you have no clue because they just clicked generate. Um, you know that's terrifying. Um,
Yeah,
and I agree. I think there should be a toggle switch that's very clear, very evident, and very front of the user interface on programs like Adobe. And it's not just Adobe. We've been giving Adobe a lot of heat here.
yeah,
There's a lot of, I mean, I'm sure browsers and all sorts of
everything probably.
applications these days. I mean, turn on the TV for 5 seconds and listen, try to get away from an ad that doesn't say powered by AI, you know,
Yeah,
and everything these days. Like get this phone now with Apple Intelligence. You know, try
yeah,
this printer now generated with AI printing capabilities or whatever it is. Get a haircut at Supercuts, trimmed by AI.
yeah,
It's every advertisement ever. You are not a product in 2024, 2025 if you're not boasting AI capabilities.
AI.
So yeah,
Yep.
every product and app I think should have an AI less toggle switch that's right there. It's like, hey, let's go incognito here. You can't use this. I think it's only fair. I think it's a human rights issue when you bring it up to that point. Yeah, I want to protect the privacy of my underage children or
Yeah,
something like that. You know, I don't know.
yeah. It's a tough one. I really like what Richard Jones says here. I'm gonna go and pin it.
Mhm.
Technology advancing faster than the rules. CFO of Google says shut off AI before AI takes over.
Mhm.
The first part, advancing faster than the rules. I think we are so AI has been around for a long time. Like this isn't anything new, but I think it's just kind of snowballing now because every company is looking at the next one and saying, "Oh, they're doing this. Like we need to start doing this," and which is why it just seems like within like the last 3 years, AI has just really skyrocketed.
Mhm.
And I agree, and this is my take, Richard Jones. I really do believe that it's advancing way faster, and I think that's an understatement. I think it's way beyond what we even know,
Mhm.
what we were even thinking it could do, and we're this is the experiment right now. We are kind of in the trial run. We are
Yep.
seeing if we're going to hit a wall. We're seeing how much damage it can do, and we're just kind of gauging like what that would look like. And I think I've just heard of so many stories of AI not being used for good,
Yeah.
and it can be as awesome as it is. It can equally be terrifying, dude.
Hmm. Yeah. Nefarious intent is sneaky, and I think it's one of those things where we are driving at an accelerated rate on the autobahn right now, and we're slowly taking our hands off the wheel. But it only takes the faster you go, it takes less of a shift on the steering wheel before you just hit the side. Right?
Hmm.
It's easier to take control of the vehicle at a slower speed. I would agree. Like some of the examples you see bowling around on the internet, it's just like it's either wow, that's really cool. I can't believe we can do that, and it's oh my gosh, I'm terrified. I can't believe we can do that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
Yeah,
Did you ever play the Mass Effect video game series?
a little bit.
So I've been watching some replay clips, a lot of gamers and streamers like playing that game, and it's like 2007, 2009, and 2012. I think the one Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 came out. So for those of you who aren't gamers out there, this is a sci-fi video game series. Mass Effect 3 is in my top 3 video games of all time.
It's a Microsoft game, right?
It started on Xbox. It's on
Okay.
it's on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Okay.
It was made by BioWare. So if you're familiar with
That's right.
Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, the Old Republic MMO, they've made some Dragon Age, legendary games from BioWare. But the point I want to bring up is the final decision. The whole point of the Mass Effect series is like a space opera set in the near future. A couple hundred years down the line, and we have access to all this brilliant technology that we discovered was ancient technology. It gives us access to this, intergalactic government of, races that exist. But you realize that the trouble people have been having is sort of this rise in artificial intelligence and, robots, like synthetics, they call them. There's like whole races of synthetic people, these kind of creatures, and there's way more to the story. But the very last decision that you make in the game, you have to decide whether to destroy synthetics, control synthetics, or synthesize with them to do it. And you're talking to this supercomputer like embodiment, and the discussion that this computer brings up is, and this is a spoiler for people who want to play the game, but it's a 12-year-old game, so I kind of have a little bit no mercy. But if you want to leave, now's the time. It's this child, this form of this child is telling you about the decisions you can make, and they say, it's organics, meaning like living beings. Organics seek perfection through technology, and synthetics seek perfection through understanding. And the reason that the whole game is like in a big conflict, the reason why you're trying to stop this huge battle is because this computer and its like sort of pawns, the Reapers, they literally do these like cycles where they come in and like harvest life every like 50,000 years, because the battle gets so intense every time that like one is gonna consume the other, and it's always gonna be the synthetics. I'm going like way off in this like nerd rant here. Bear with me. But I love this story because I think we're actually hitting the crux of that, the beginnings of that right now in real life, and it's so poignant. And when this game came out in 2012, that was just not the case. And I love this game. Mass Effect 3 is one of my favorite games ever, and it's seeing it actually be true that there is the serious question right now of, are we going to lose control? Are we going to lose our free will or our viability to live a free life because of these computers that we're creating? I don't know. And in the game, you get to make the choice for how that future exists, because you can choose to stop it dead right there, and eliminate all of that, or you can let it run free, or you can take control of it, or you can become one with it and end the conflict. So I think everyone's all worried about conflict, right? Like, are humans going to be controlled by AI? Are AI is going to inhabit robots and they're all going to kill us? I don't know, but that's certainly what people
Skynet.
right. Skynet, Terminators. I mean, everything. People are afraid of these Tesla Optimus robots. Elon Musk put a travel speed limit on them so they can't outrun you. Like, literally was the reason why, was that if there's a rogue AI takes over Optimus
That's crazy.
robots,
I didn't know that, dude.
yes, they literally have a running speed limit, so they physically can't outperform a human while running. That way you don't get an iRobot situation.
Yeah, but what if the AI is so smart that it can figure out how to do that? It says, okay, if I figure out how to do this, then I will unlock this certain thing.
It would have to probably find a way to augment the hardware. So software could understand that, or firmware could, but it would have to augment, like the capacitors and the actuators and the pistons and everything would have to be changed.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like, you can't make a V6 engine operate like a V12. You have to swap the engine out. You gotta have the different parts.
Makes sense. I think as long as the AI is simply just used as a tool, I think that would be a better way for it to coexist. Is if it's just simply a tool used to aid with or improve something.
Mhm.
I think whenever AI becomes heavily relied on, Tinsnight says she used Chat GPT a lot for work. I
Mhm.
use Chat GPT a lot, so I am one of the people who heavily relies on AI,
Mhm.
and it helps. It helps immensely. It can cut down time, and there's so much. But I think once we get to the point where AI is like the first thing that we think about when we're trying to solve a problem, or when we're wanting to, I don't know, pave the way for something, we would just rely on AI. I think that's where it becomes scary.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is we are just relying solely on that technology, and it's like we kind of forgot everything that we've learned. We forget to just you actually use our brains. We're gonna let someone think for us. We're gonna let something else strategize for us.
Mhm. I always loved the language of like a tool and a crutch. Like use it as a tool, but don't use it to support you. Like there's so many things in life like that where you actually have to use front of mind judgment. Because I think I'm trying to think of a really good example, and maybe one will come to
Caleb,
me. What would you say?
your
Can't
helmet
your
looks.
your helmet looks like it has glowing eyes? Oh, hey, what's the PlayStation robot that Astro's Playworld
I know what
or
you're talking about.
Playground
Yeah. Yep.
Playroom
That's it.
Astro's Playroom? I'm gonna pull up this picture and show you guys here because it looks just like that.
Dude, I'm kind of scared, bro. What would do? What if it just starts turning?
Oh
It just
my
starts
gosh.
spinning.
Okay,
He's looking right at me.
hang on here. Open a new window. Um,
We already
bear
don't
with
know
me.
phone numbers. Yep. Speed dial.
Yeah, dude, I had a conversation about that at a wedding recently. I was with some of my childhood friends, and one of them I've known since kindergarten. The other one I met in like junior high, and we were talking about memorization of phone numbers. And we were trying our darndest to
Oof.
remember. Like I remember my kindergarten friend's home phone number, and then I remembered the first 3 digits of my other friend's number. I was like, but
Nice.
but it was like it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's a handful of people I still remember all the phone numbers for. A couple of my best friends, I still know all their phone numbers for their houses. Um, but beyond
It's
that,
tough.
like
Hmm.
I think the only other people that I know their cell phone numbers by heart are like family. I don't know anyone else's phone numbers. I couldn't tell you. I don't know your phone number by heart. I don't know.
There's no need to.
Right. You
There's
just
no
don't.
need to remember it.
No, you don't.
You just pull up your phone, type in their name.
Right. Um, but if I grew up down the street from you, I would know your number 100%.
Yeah.
See, um,
Oh,
can,
that's it.
can you see that? Does that not look?
Hmm. That's it. He's back there.
There we go.
Ah!
Look at him. That's who we're talking about. Anyway, I digress massively.
Dude, I mean, it looks just like him.
He does. Um. Anyway, this has been a riveting conversation. It's not one that we're going to be able to answer and solve in one podcast. I'll tell you that much.
I don't know if we'll ever be able to solve this problem. I don't know if you can call it a problem. This unique situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be just like one of the. It's gonna be a new way of life, and it's there. And just like with a lot of things, it's just gonna be one of those. It's gonna have two sides always.
Mm-hmm. Right. For sure. It will never be
Yes.
one. Yeah. Right. One or the
Yep.
other.
Hmm. Don't lose your phone. Yeah.
Um. Well, dude, do you want to talk about astrophoto fails?
Bring up some bad memories. Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
It's important to talk about these because a lot of times, um, a lot of people don't know all of the bad takes that it took to get the cool photo that you just liked or the cool poster that you just purchased. A lot of times there are a lot of fails, and I've had so many fails, man.
Mm-hmm.
So many,
Right.
so many.
And how many of them were planned?
Yeah,
Right?
they're yeah, exactly. They're just It's inevitable. It's a part of the process. And for me, I always try to learn from my mistakes. And even though I feel like after making one mistake, I try to position myself to not make that same mistake, I'll
Hmm.
find a way to do it.
Right.
It's part of it.
Hmm. Ellen, how many times do you figure out a problem before the moment of opportunity versus after the fact when it's too late and you go, oh man, I messed that up.
Too many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like you've had times where you have realized it before? Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's too late. You just kind of have to ride it out.
I feel like a lot of times those that I catch it preemptively are due to things I left at home. Right? Like, oh man, I need this one critical thing to make this whole setup run. I dragged it all out here
Yes,
and drove an hour, and now I don't
dude.
have enough time to go back and get it. And
That hurts so much
mhm,
when you spend an enormous amount of time preparing. And here's the thing, like people before you guys come at me and say like, "Oh, just make a checklist." I just forget to write things on the checklist. All right?
mhm,
So I have a checklist. I need like a checklist for the checklist, but yeah, there have been times where I spent a lot of time preparing, packing, loading up the truck, and I will even say I packed almost everything plus extra in case I forget some other thing. So I am overly prepared. However, I would forget that one tiny little thing that makes everything else run, like a
mhm.
counterweight.
Right, right.
So
Mhm,
everything that you bought plus the extras doesn't matter. Everything's rendered useless because of some simple thing.
right.
It's happened a lot. I've lost count.
Yes. So annoying. But it does give you sometimes an opportunity to be creative and improvise, because sometimes just because you forget something doesn't mean there isn't a solution. If you forget a counterweight, well, maybe can you find a way to put a backpack full of books on the tripod instead or something? You just never know what might work.
Hmm.
Um,
Very
so
true.
it does give you some opportunity. I feel like 80% of my astrophoto fails are human error. They're my own fault. I made a last minute change to something that ended up ruining the shot, or I thought I did all of the mental checklist items and I forgot one, you know, or I didn't give myself enough time to set up and I'm rushing, and
Mm,
thus I mess up a setting, or I didn't do something that was blatantly obvious and it ends up ruining shot. The other 20% I think tend to be sourced as environmental influences, like, oh, the photo was just about to happen and then clouds rolled in, you know, or the orbit of the space station changed and now it's no longer going to be in front of the sun, something like that. It's like things that are out of your control. Like, you did everything right, but it didn't work. Um, that's kind of my evaluation on the spread of things. But
I agree. I've similar to like I lost count of how many times I've just human error, just making a silly mistake.
mhm.
Um, yeah.
Let me show you guys a video. It's like a 4-second video here. This is a space station transit in front of the sun. And let me look for Windows. Here it is. Can you guys see this? Yeah, we got that here.
Yep.
This is the sun through my telescope. This is 2019. This is 5 years ago. I had a pretty good knowledge of what I was doing at the time. It was pretty early in my transit journey of learning how to do transits of the space station in front of the sun or in front of the moon. But here, let me play the video for you. Let me see if you guys can notice this. Did you catch it? Could you see it? Let's play it again. Did you see it, Tan?
Was it the shake?
So the camera is shaking because I think it was windy that day. But I'm going
Hmm.
to slow it down here. Can you see the little? Can I zoom in a little bit? Does that help? No, maybe not. It won't let me zoom. Can you see that little blur right
Yep.
here? That's the space station,
Hmm.
and it's going across the sun. Let me. But it's out of focus.
Hmm.
So I was out that day in a parking lot. I was at work actually. I went out on my lunch break, pulled out my telescope, and took a shot. But it was a simple thing that I thought I had everything right, and my focus was not sharp. I didn't double check my focus. So this beautiful midday opportunity of the space station passing the sun happened in about a second. I completely botched it because I didn't double check my focus. So,
I love it because Johnny Rock said, "Focus not cooperating." Like before he even played the thing. Love it.
Yep, exactly. And that was one of those things where I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I went through all this work to pack this up today and got all excited. I was waiting for the right moment because I knew it was going to happen at 12:49 p.m. or something like that. And then the worst part is when you have to pack it up after the failure.
Oof, that drive home.
And it's the drive home. It's when you load it up. You're like
Clenching 10 and 2. You're like, I just want
to. Yeah. You got all this expensive equipment. You spend all this time planning, and then you just like totally botch it. And that was a simple fix. I was so close to being in focus. Like if you look at the image, you actually realize how close to being sharp that was. That was a tiny adjustment, and I would have nailed the shot. You would have seen solar panels. You would have seen detail on the space station. Nope. So I was really pissed. Let's just say that.
I've done that, except for I focus the wrong way too.
Oh, I mean? Yeah.
Because you're like, sometimes you have to really pay attention to which way you're going, counterclockwise or clockwise. I'm like, wait a second, I think it's this, and you end up just making it worse.
Right.
It goes from focus, being slightly out of focus, to being more out of focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough balance sometimes, like getting that direction right.
Yeah. Dude, you mentioned earlier about making mistakes like at the worst time or right at the last second. And it seems a lot of my human error mistakes have always been right at the worst time. Meaning if I were to have just like let everything stay put, things probably would have been okay. But I would make a last minute adjustment and it would just actually just botch everything.
Yep. I've done that.
Yeah, and like I think one particular instance I remember was it was my first time doing a solar transit. So just like what you were doing, photographing the ISS going in front of the sun. I had two setups, and I had set up about maybe half an hour before the time of the pass. And on one telescope, I had a blanket covering the entire scope and my camera, just so it wouldn't heat up. And on the other, I didn't do that at all. I just left it out in the sun, and I didn't think anything of it until literally right a split second before the pass. My phone shuts off because it overheats. But the 30 minutes prior, it was fine. It was just boiling up to that one point.
Yep.
And right when the pass happened is when it shut off.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I feel for you on that. Ugh.
It hurts.
It hurts now. I'm feeling the hurt.
Artie says AI can probably fix that. Oh, the blurry photos.
I wish it could, because you can do a lot of like blur reduction on stuff, but in this particular thing, I think he's just enough out of focus that it doesn't even know what's correct. So I think that would be a tricky one for AI to
for
sharpen.
Now.
It would just sharpen a blurred image. But yeah, I think in the future, I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah, in the future, it probably has a database of a bunch of out of focus satellites, and it also has a bunch of in focus satellites or ISS. Right. It would basically just guess. So
let me quick and drop that into Adobe Premiere so that the AI database has access to it. So the next person who's coming along gets a
big brain, 200 IQ.
Yeah, right.
And put a picture of the ISS over the blur.
Yeah, it's like this, like really, it's like clip art.
Can I show you one of my fails? I have one video.
Please do.
I'd like
to
share.
Bring it up.
All right, let me figure out how to do this.
Do it. You won't.
Don't tempt me. Yeah. Okay, ISS fail.
While you do that, I'm going to answer this question. How did you know it was going to pass in front of the sun? This is a great question. And this is not something you can randomly prepare for. So you don't just go out and hope it passes. You obviously have to do a lot of advanced work. Someone smarter than me made a website called Transit Finder, ISS Transit Finder. Brilliant website, been available for years. I use it for everything transit related. Go there, you type in your coordinates, like to the detail, and you can choose a range of time, like usually up to like 3 or 4 weeks, and then you select a range in distance from your coordinates in a radius. Oh snap!
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought I was just gonna bring it up, but
That's okay.
I'm gonna let you finish.
No worries. It'll give you like a radius, and it will tell you all the listings for upcoming transits and all the data, orbital data, viewing data, size, how big it'll appear to you, time of day. It'll give you a little like image of what it will, could look like going. It'll give you like a flight path over the sun or over the moon, tell you what phase the moon is. Is it an illuminated transit or an unilluminated transit for the moon? Because there's differences there. I know I'm rattling off a lot of jargon, but particularly the times. And they're very, very, very accurate times. They reference
Down to the T. Yeah.
Yeah, current telemetry data from the International Space Station. They also have it available for the Chinese space station Tiangong, so you can look transits for that. And
What'd you call me?
yeah,
Bro, cut it out.
yeah, or the Hubble Space Telescope, which is awesome. Oh, that was uncalled for in the best way. Oh man, the Tiangong space station.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. But you can look up those things and you can plan. So it'll be like, hey, on December 31st at 1:31 and 42 seconds in the morning, there'll be a lunar transit or something like that, and you can plan for it.
Here's where you need to go. Yeah, it's so accurate.
It'll give you the path that you have to travel to, and it'll tell you where if you're too far out of the path because it's a very specific line. Beautiful website, saved my neck a bunch. But my recommendation is if you are going to go out and do a shot like that, reference the data down to the last moment, because sometimes things change with the space station. Normally it doesn't, but it can. And that gives you the opportunity to relocate and move to the proper spot if you need to. And the reason for that is sometimes they do orbit boosts. They'll like push the orbit like with a craft of the space station to push it further out because the orbit degenerates over time. So they'll like reboost the orbit for it. So sometimes that moves the space station. Also, they account for drag because there is small amount of air atomic particles in the orbit of the space station, and there's sometimes just enough that it creates drag on the space station, and that changes it just ever so slightly. That maybe it'll push it out of your field of view for imagery. So we could probably make a whole episode about that. So,
I was gonna say, bro just knows everything about the ISS. It's almost like it's your favorite thing.
yeah, the world may never know. Yeah. But good question. Tan, take it away with your fail, man.
Yeah, so this was me tracking the ISS for the first time through my telescope, and I think originally I made this into like a little video, but it's a behind the scenes, and then you see the final image. Get ready for this awesome shot. There it is.
Oh yes.
So I'll explain why it's so wonky. All right.
Mhm.
There's from my understanding, in order to get a decent image of the ISS, is you basically film it. You use a video, which are basically a series of still images, right? So I take a video of the ISS and then I just use software to stabilize it, and basically any bit of movement, or it would basically just track the ISS, and it would try to keep it. It would stabilize it and keep it centered and try to keep it smooth as much as possible. And on one, the mistake I made was it wasn't a focus, so I think the stabilization was off. And two, I just don't think I even knew I don't think I even knew how to use that software, which is why everything looked like it was crazy. It was just dancing.
Yeah.
So I did all that work, prepared for this, and that was my first take at it. I was pretty discouraged. I'm like,
Right,
man, this is
dude.
tough.
I failed my first solar transit as well. I changed the setting at the last second, and I didn't get anything. I think I way overexposed it. Like you couldn't even see the space station. I was looking at it. I was recording, doing all this stuff. But I totally get it. Like, because you just feel demoralized after that. You're like, why would I ever do this again?
I quit.
Yeah,
I'm done.
it's like forget about this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go make some pancakes and
Yeah. Play Mass Effect or something.
Yeah, Mass Effect with pancakes. But yeah, I mean the thing is, you just got to keep going, right? You do stack the losses, but you eventually turn those losses into wins, and then you start stacking those. And I've messed up a lot of transits for a lot of different reasons, but I at this point I have had more victories than I have had losses. Those losses will never go away, but those have informed my victories, and they almost guarantee my victories these days and my good shots, because I know what to look for, I know what not to do, and I know how to not mess up. I'm not immune, but I'm certainly more prepared. I've built up a knowledge of resistance to failure, and so have you, Tan. You're just better than you were because of those fails.
Yep, agreed.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull up a video. I hope the audio shows up here. This one was in November of 2021. This was the night of a lunar eclipse, and there was a partial lunar eclipse happening. It was on its way to a full, and I realized that there was going to be a space station transit at like midnight, and the lunar eclipse was like in the wee hours of the morning, and it had started. And I thought, dude, it'd be an epic shot to get a space station transit in front of a partial lunar eclipse. Like that's a rare shot. Getting the space station to be in the right spot for you during an event like that. So I thought I'd give it a shot. So let me pull up the video here. I don't know if the audio is going to come through. So here's me in a Walmart parking lot at like midnight. It was
nice,
very cold. There's the moon up there. I put a GoPro down.
I don't have any audio, by the way.
No audio?
Okay. Yep.
Man. Hang on. Let me see if I can get that. Audio's
You
pretty
look cold.
It was very cold. I don't remember what the temperature was, but I remember being quite bitter about it. Hang on, let me represent here. Sorry.
You're good.
Is there an audio selection for the window? To share audio, share a tab instead. What?
Lame.
Well, either way, that moment, I talk about it. I messed up some setting, essentially, and I was all the way out there, and I botched this opportunity to get a really rare shot, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and I did. I just I was careless about there was like some camera setting that I forgot to change, and I went home and I was like, I guess I'll just go shoot the lunar eclipse without the space station. Oh well,
It hurts, man. It is a rare opportunity to catch something like that, and it's really easy to kind of punch down, after you've messed up. Like, why did I do it?
Yes. Which reminds me, this one I can do audio for, because I put it in a YouTube video recently. So we'll play this segment from this video, because I did like a recap of some 2024 photos I did. So let me just present this. We're gonna just watch a little bit. Hang on. All right, here we go. Can you guys see this this video? Okay. All right, hopefully the audio comes through. So let's try it.
Taken of these events this year in 2024. Let's get into that real quick. So let's rewind the clocks back to April of 2024, where we got to see a total solar eclipse here in North America. It went from Mexico through the US and into Canada, and I was able to be down in Southern Illinois for the event in the path of totality. Here's the best image I got from the day. This is with a 600 millimeter telephoto lens, and this was actually just seconds before the moment of totality. However, my camera had an error with communicating through the lens adapter I had on, and it actually didn't record any of the burst photo images that I got during the totality event.
My camera buffered out in the middle of it. I have 0 shots in totality. 0 shots. No.
I know that's a nightmare level scenario, but it happened. And I shed some tears and I moved on. I'm okay. But I did get this photo, which was great. It was a beautiful day, and I got to see it with my eyes, which is what the most important thing was.
Anyway,
You look like you were like 8 years old, bro.
what? This was in April.
Dude, I don't know. That last photo of you just look super, super young.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. What the heck? I
What
must have.
happened?
I must have. Been through some stuff this year.
Yeah.
Dang.
The podcast probably.
Yeah, your podcast. Tan, you stress me out. You turn my hair gray, dude.
Oh, dude, that's painful to absolutely just not have anything to come home with.
I have GoPro footage of me realizing that my camera failed me.
Oh,
Off to the
priceless
side.
footage.
It's me. You could, if you look close enough, you could probably see the color of my face disappearing, and then it's just the drain, all the blood drain out of my
The
face.
realization. Yeah.
And then I did a little video, a talking segment later. I probably should have shown this more. I got to find the right clip for it. I do have it, but I took the GoPro aside and I talked to her for a bit. I almost broke down crying because I was just so upset, dude. I was really mad. And I was like, after the eclipse moved on and everyone packed up and went home, I just went up and I'm like, I'm going to talk to the camera for a bit. And I was like, I don't know if I can even talk to the camera right now because it is finally sinking into me that my equipment failed during the moment of a lifetime to see a total solar eclipse in person with clear weather, in my own state. It's not going to happen again when I'm alive. And I was like, this is crazy. So I was just really bummed about it. I got over it, but.
Dude, you just sharing that story kind of makes me like, it hurts. It frustrates me actually.
Right.
I'm a little mad for you now.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that problem, I've diagnosed what it was since then. There's a communication error between the telephoto lens and the adapter that I have for the lens, because it's a Canon EF lens on an E-mount Sony camera. So I have to have a little adapter. And I know it's that because that same problem has happened to me probably 5 or 6 more times with the same setup in different scenarios. Not on astro photos, but I'll like use it for like, my kid's soccer game or like squirrels in the backyard, and it'll just lock up on me. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is it not recording my images? And it won't do anything, and it just freezes. And I know the problem, I know the solution, but it costs money and I don't have the money to do it. But it happened to fire up for the exact 4 minutes of the total solar eclipse. It could have happened the whole hour and a half before, but and it didn't.
It chose the right time, the perfect time.
Yes.
He's like, Nick's gonna love this.
Yeah.
Richard Jones says, sorry, go on.
No. I was gonna say it keeps you humble.
Yeah.
It keeps you from being overconfident, and I have plenty of beautiful photos from that day that I will always cherish, and I had so much fun editing those and sharing those, and you can't win them all, and that's okay. It's part of humanity. It's to be expected, and it happens to to all of us in some way. So I'm choosing to just be like, okay, right?
It's a good mentality to have.
Mm-hmm.
And what Richard Jones says, but you saw it. That's something I try to remember whenever I have these fails, especially when I watch something. Is like, oh well, at least you got to see it. Someone else is clouded out or just living somewhere outside of the path.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of reminds me of the during my experience during the eclipse. I had too many things going on at once. So like content creator mentality is like, oh, I gotta get it with this camera. I gotta get it this. I gotta stream this, and then also have a smaller camera that I need to set up. So I have too many things going on at once. And what happens is, whenever you're not stressed out, meaning like whenever the totality part isn't right around the corner, you are much. It's easier to kind of just like move around and like not stress out. It's easy to think. And what happened was, during the moments of totality where things were starting to get dark, my brain says, okay, it's go time. Let's get ready. And all of a sudden I forget everything that I've learned. My camera's not working. It's something so simple, but I forget how to, you know what I mean? And then this camera over here is, and also I have a live stream that I'm trying to tend to. And all of a sudden I am just so overwhelmed that of all, like, out of 3 of my stuff, basically the live stream is the one that is kind of working. And then another camera is like not working the way it should, and one of the cameras completely just rendered useless because of just the stress that I am now.
Mhm.
And after a point, I realized that I would probably like. I knew that I was gonna miss the whole thing if I was just fighting with my equipment. So I
Yes.
stopped and said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna focus on the live stream, and that's it. I won't have the craziest photo, but that's fine. So I slowed down and I actually looked up and
Mhm.
saw it. But yeah, I feel you, man. It sucks. It sucks talking about it.
Mhm. Yeah. So that reminded me of a moment that happened. I have the video for it, and I queued it up, but I forgot that I can't share the audio for it in the thing without putting it into a browser. I wonder if I can do that. But during the totality moment, I did abandon my cameras for a bit because one of the guys I was talking to that I met that day, he was just a couple people down the row of people viewing the eclipse, and he was screaming. He was like, "Whoa!" He was like going nuts. Everyone else is like, "Weirdo," but but he yelled in the middle of the eclipse, "Who wants to give me a hug?" and, and
So
like,
random.
and this dude was a party animal, and in that moment, I knew I was taking shots and I was doing stuff. I was like, you know what? This is a human experience first. I was like, I do. I could grab my GoPro and I have the shot. I ran up to him. I gave this dude a hug and I was like, dude, I'm so glad to like be experiencing this with you. And then I ran back and did the rest of my shots for the other 2 minutes of it or whatever. But that moment is way more memorable than being like, oh, look at this shot that I got that everyone else got too.
I need to see that clip, dude.
Mhm.
That's a happy and wholesome clip, and I need to see it.
Here, I'm gonna share the video. You won't have audio, but I'll share the video because I feel
Yeah,
like it's
please.
worth-
I still want to see it.
So if you guys are listening and find a way to watch here in a second here.
love it.
Window. Oh, I gotta. No, it is there. What the hey? What the hey?
I agree, Johnny. It's usually the worst time. I mean, there's not ever a great time for things to malfunction, but if there's a terrible, absolute pinnacle of like worst time, that's when it'll happen.
Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, here it comes. All right, so here's me. I said 1 minute until contact 3. So this is the last minute. Here I said, I'll give you a hug. Yeah.
Bro, you should have just kissed them. Dude, that's so awesome. That is such an incredible.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your reaction too. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm really bummed the audio doesn't work. I said happy to be with you here, man.
That's such a beautiful thing, dude. I love that. That was his thought. He's like, you know what? I want to hug somebody.
Yeah, right. You can hear him. It's so funny to me. Like
I love it. I appreciate humans like that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's
He
so
was
cool.
special. You know, it was like it's one of those people that I couldn't have planned to be there, and it just let me try and get out of here.
Perfect.
Like it just worked. You know, it's cool,
Yeah.
cool people. And he told me all kinds of cool stories. He like travels the world and does cool like art and photography and stuff. He was pretty neat.
Nice. What was his name? Did you ever
Joe.
get it?
His name was Joe.
Nice.
That was something that I did on that trip. Was I took pictures with everybody that I met. I said, "Hey, do you mind if I take a picture with you so I can remember?" And then I took notes on everybody's name.
Oh, that's smart. That's cool.
I did not want to forget.
Dude, that's actually a really smart idea. I feel like I should do that with just my own personal stuff because a lot of times I will try to like recollect a story in my head and I'll think of this person. I won't remember anything about them and
Mhm.
it'll drive me nuts because it's basically now locked away in a drawer. And the only time I would ever get it back is maybe by accident or if I go see a hypnotist or something. But I'm like, what is that guy's name?
And they'll just like you'll remember Jim Bob's name from 14 years ago.
Yeah, but writing it down and maybe making a little note. That's cool. That's a smart idea.
Here he is. There's Joe.
Nice.
That was him.
Dude, he looks like a badass.
Yeah, he was cool. So, Joe, if you ever find this video, shout out to you, man. I hope you're doing well. I wonder, yeah, maybe we can find another time to talk more about those trips because I met some really cool folks.
Inspiring. I think for the next total solar eclipse, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go and offer free hugs.
You should. Yes.
Maybe I'll charge just a little bit.
Yeah. You got to give a galaxy to get a hug.
Yeah. Give me a rose.
Yeah.
Follow my live stream and give me a rose.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. Well, dude, we're an hour 42 deep into this. For those of you still hanging out with us, we appreciate it. Got one more topic to discuss here before we wrap up tonight's show. So we want to talk about some of those tips for Christmas gift ideas for your favorite space nerd in your life, Tan. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some
Let's
of you
get
guys
some,
might be behind the 8 ball, but we've got your back.
I probably might write some of these down myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. This is one of my go-tos. I'm gonna pick up this. I say this a lot. I've even made videos about it in the past on TikTok. But this is one of my go-tos because they're just universally awesome. I'm gonna grab these things. Hang on one second.
Ooh. Have you guys done all your Christmas shopping, by the way? Let me know in the chat.
Get his headphones back on. All right. These guys.
What?
I've got the moon. Let's get the focus to pull here. We got the moon.
I didn't know the moon had arms and legs.
Moon has arms and legs. It even says
Dude,
moon on the foot. I can't turn it
Ooh.
the right way. There we go. Got the moon. I've got planet Earth. And I've got Neptune, because Neptune's my favorite planet. These are celestial buddies.
They are cute.
That's
I
the
need
brain.
them now.
You do need them. Yeah. These are like little plushies that they have them for the whole solar system and a couple other, spacey objects like comets. I think the comet and do they have some of the dwarf
Is
planets?
Pluto on there?
They do have Pluto.
Instant
Yes.
respect. I'm adding it all to the cart.
So this was a small business that made these little planet plushies, and then they blew up years ago, meaning they were successcul. Not like they didn't. No one rigged it for explosion. Let's just be clear. Because SpaceX put an Earth one as the gravity identifier, or what do they call it? The I'm just blanking on the name for it. There's a word for it. When you get to space, they usually put like a toy on it on a string, so that when they're on the feeds when they've officially made it to space, the thing is floating around in the cabin.
No way. They use one of those?
And it was on the demo flight for Crew Dragon, I think. It was the uncrewed flight, and I think they put this guy on there. So everyone wanted one. So they sold out really hard, and I pre-ordered it, and then eventually I got it in the mail. This Earth is the same one that same model that they sent to space, and it's super cute. But then
The world's in your hands, Nick.
It is. Sorry.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, thank you. We got the moon, which is super cool. It's a little smaller than the Earth. It's makes sense. But they have all the other ones, and they're super cute. They're not too expensive, but especially for kids who are getting into space, these are great gifts. You could jam the moon in their stocking. You could get a bunch of them. You get in the whole solar system if you want.
I want them for real.
Right.
I'm probably gonna buy some after this, and not even for kids, just for myself.
Right. Well, that's the thing is, I don't care how old I am. These are cool, and they all look awesome. Saturn's got rings. The sun is really fuzzy. It's got long hair.
That's so cool.
The
Nice.
comet's got a cool hair.
There's a comet one?
There's a comet.
No way.
I'm gonna look it up so I
That's
can
cool.
show people here. I'm gonna go to their website and pull it up.
Is there a flat Earth one?
Nah, it's just like a pancake.
Those would probably sell out.
Oh my god, they would.
Those
dude.
would hold on. I think I was gonna say I think I have an idea, but I'm not sure if I want to go that direction.
Yeah.
Sell out that way.
Right. I see a drop a link. I put it in the chat, celestialbuddies.com, and I'm going to show you guys the website here. I'm just going to show you the link. I'm going to screen share. So
Yeah, Tanzanite, get some for sure.
Okay, you
You'll
guys
need
see
to
this?
get a meteor one. Yes. Well, there's a comet one that's close.
So here, I'm going to go to shop and let's have a look. So
Dude, this sun one looks so cool.
So look at Mars, and the best part is Mars has a polar ice cap, but it's just like a little like tuft of hair on.
That's so cool. I love it.
So you guys can see in this picture, like there's actually, there's Mars, and then here it is. And then they've got the Earth and the Moon you've seen. Here's the sun. Look at this.
Dude, that's actually so cool.
Right?
Look at all the prominences.
Right? Look at those solar flares. Actually, it's like, it's a spitting image,
Somebody. I love
And they're
it.
like this. I've seen this one in stores too, and they're like really big. Here's Saturn. Saturn's got like the rings are like a little up high, which is a little bit interesting, but it's probably
like a hat.
a little more
Yeah.
like a hat. Yeah. Oh, they got
That's
this little animated GIF here.
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. Here's a hot take. It's GIF, not GIF.
Mm.
Look at Jupiter. Jupiter's got the great red spot for a nose.
That's smart.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
And then let's see what else we got here. Uranus has got the rings because they're like vertical. They're not horizontal rings.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
So they actually have it like spinning, the other direction.
Yeah.
Here's Pluto, and I still am baffled on how to say the moon's name. Charon, Charon, Charon. I don't know. I've heard it.
C word.
Every yeah. It's cool because they got like the little heart shape on Pluto, and this looks accurate to the imagery that was all taken by the New Horizons probe, which is super.
I
cool.
appreciate that so much. I love that. The attention to detail.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at that. Like the dark spot on the top of the moon. Like they put that on. The top.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
Yeah.
Venus, the most beautiful of the planets. It's got like little eyelashes and like kissy lips.
I'm a smoldering hottie.
Yeah. It's true. Oh,
It's true.
man.
This is true, guys. Venus is a babe.
Venus is a babe. Mercury's got shoes.
Yeah. I don't get it. I'm on the fast track.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the fastest planet in the solar system.
Yeah, that's clever. That's good.
And then Neptune we've seen. Oh, here's the comet. It's fuzzy, like a coma of a comet, and it's got a tail, which is kind of like it's like a mohawk.
Dude, I love it.
Here, oh yeah, look, dude, we should dye its hair black, and then it'll be your mullet, dude.
I need all of these.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna send him a message. I'm gonna see if I can just sweet talk my way into getting some of these to promote. I would love promoting something like this.
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic.
So if you're listening, celestialbuddies.com. Please. Can you spare me a couple planets?
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Please.
Can I have some more celestial buddies?
Why does that sound so good? That's spot on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just spend a lot of free time begging people for soup.
Planets?
Yeah, planets and soup. So that was a long rant there, but I love Celestial Buddies. They're a fun present for your favorite space nerd. Do you have any other ideas? Any astro equipment maybe, or things that like be my gun for?
I think binoculars would be a good stocking stuffer because they're generally pretty affordable, and I think they are so overlooked, and I think everyone should have a pair. So
Yeah.
and the cool thing is you can just use them during the daytime too for birding, for looking at stuff, but after hours they're great. And usually people always resort or they jump straight to I think I need a telescope to enjoy astronomy, or I think I need to spend money on this. No, binoculars are great. I always have them, and and I won't ever go anywhere without them.
Without binoculars.
Without the Knox. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good recommendation. Reminding me that I should actually invest in a higher quality pair of binoculars just to have for myself too. I've got like I have one pair of binoculars. They're from my dad, and he got them when he was like 13 from some catalog or something. He like sent in for it or whatever. So like these cheapo binoculars from like the early 1960s. They don't do much more than just make things a little bit bigger. You know, they're not like this. Like they're not pro. They're not like high end optics at all. But like I still use them, and they were the things that I used to look at Comet Holmes in 2007 before I had a telescope. So they have Astro experience, and they did a great job.
Got a lot of miles on it. Nice.
Right. Mm-hmm. I see Tanzanite saying, did you show the black hole? And I am going to throw this back up because I forgot there's a second page of Celestial Buddies. So hang on to your hats. Look at the black hole.
What? Dude. There's 16 reviews.
Oh, look at it's eating the comet.
No. I love it. That's awesome. You can't see me,
hilarious.
but I matter a lot.
Oh my gosh. And they have some for other stars. They have Polaris A beta and B. Is that correct?
Oh, that's cool. Probably. I don't know.
They got these little stars. 2 little stars. They have actually Polaris. Look at this.
Oh.
That's cool.
How big are these things? Because I'm seeing the kids like hugging these.
Yeah, I mean, they show.
I thought they were just. It's massive.
I mean, that one's pretty big. Yeah, that looks like the size of a basketball. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the little ones next to the big one. So those are
nice.
A little smaller. So anyway, I thought I'd show those as well.
I like it.
Richard threw in a question for you, Tan.
Be more specific. Brand binoculars. I like the Celestron Cometron binoculars. I believe they are the 10 by 25 or 10 by 50, and they're around like $30. But to be honest, Richard Jones, I've bought so many binoculars, even like the Temu kind, and although I wouldn't recommend getting them on Temu. You can't really go wrong with like 10 by 25 or 10 by 50s. They're for the most part really, really good. And again, like usually when you're staying in that $20 to $30 range, those binoculars are going to go a long way. So, but if I were to pick a brand, I am a big fan of Celestron just because they are a telescope and microscope. They're an optics manufacturer and they're very reputable. The Cometron binoculars. They're huge and they're great and they're cheap.
Good rec. People like that. They like cheap, but they like great cheap.
Yep. Those are some good ideas. I like it. I think that Celestial Buddies, that could have just been like a promotion for them.
Yeah. Okay. Sponsor us, Celestial Buddies. I'm happy to promote them. They're a cool product. I've enjoyed them and I've had them for years, and eventually I hope to outfit my studio here with as many of them as I possibly can. So
hold on, we got one more. I just thought of it just now.
Okay, yeah, do it.
Someone sent me this. These are the MOVA globes.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
So like they have the entire like solar system, but I don't know how it works. I think there's some kind of like magnet technology, but as long as there's like some kind of ambient light, the globes will spin on its own.
What?
Yeah, and there's just really like trippy looking because it's almost like a gimbal looking thing, right? Like they just stay in place.
It's like the head of a chicken. You ever see that?
Nope. No idea what you're talking about.
Dude, chickens' heads are like gimbals.
Really?
Look up a video of people holding a chicken by the body and their head is just chilling.
And they move their body?
They move the body, but the head stays perfectly still.
Dude, we should just attach a mirrorless camera to the chicken's head and use it as a gimbal. But yeah, these are called MOVA globes, and there's one for every planet or celestial. I think there's a sun one. But yeah, they're cool. They could be, I think they're a little on the pricey end, but they are an absolute cool thing to have, especially if you want something to spice up your office or living room.
Yeah, that's definitely the classiest recommendation of the night. That's just cool.
Yeah, so huge shout out to one of my followers, subscribers, friend, good human being sent me this.
Wow, that's really
What is-
nice.
Love Luna.
I'm seeing the reflection of your light on it. I was going to ask, was that a drone? Is it a drone?
It's the second moon.
Second moon, yeah.
You need that.
Is there any rust on that moon? And if we're going to keep going with the domino chain of conspiracy theories, might as well just keep it going. That's super cool, though.
It is cool.
I'm going to put that on my list. I do have one other final thing for you guys. For those of you who are readers, I'm going to recommend a book, space book. It's brand new. It just came out last month.
It is Tanzanite.
Is it cheese? Oh, nice. Yeah. Mmm. Moon is made of queso. So I'm going to recommend the book From Apollo to Artemis, Stories from My 50 Years with NASA by Herb Baker. This is a brand new book. Like I said, it just came out. I've been reading it. I'm like 2/3 of the way through it. I'm almost finished. Fantastic book written by a guy who started working in and around NASA during the Apollo landing. So he was like doing like news reporting and courier jobs for news agencies while they were reporting on Neil Armstrong being on the moon. And then he retired in 2017 during the Artemis program, hence the title. But he has all kinds of stories of all the different contracts that he was working on and different parts of the space agency that he was working for over the decades. He had a ton of really cool like personal tie-ins. Like his mom worked, for NASA as a seamstress, and all these different insider like bits you will not hear anywhere else. Astronauts he's worked with, big contracts that shifted the course of American space flight. Like he's had his hands on it, and he tells those stories in this book. But I think this is something that most people will not have heard of and not have found. And I kind of interacted with Herb a little bit on Twitter/X, back in the day. And I can't remember how he found me, but he ended up following me from one of my space pictures. And I started following him, and he promoted this book this year. And I was like, I'm totally buying that. Cause like somebody who worked at NASA for 50 years, like dude's probably got stories. So,
he followed you, bro?
Yeah, he followed me, dude.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know why, but he did. And I was like, I was like, oh, sweet. This is cool. I got a connection to a guy who works or had a career with NASA. So, yeah, it's a great book. I recommend it. It's not too smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will be intimidated by science books and space books for being like, oh, it's probably above my level of education on space. Like this is a really wonderful book for people who are like, I just have a general interest in space. You can palate it, and it gives you a lot of information, even teaches you kind of about the history of the space program in America, in a way that you can digest without being overwhelmed with information. There's good detail, but it's not like you're, going to be like frustrated with how much info there is. It's like, oh, cool. I didn't know that about Apollo 15, or I didn't know that about Skylab. Like I didn't know Skylab existed. Like here's a little story. So it's cool. I would recommend it. And I'm just going to throw in a little bit of a hint and a little bit of teaser. Maybe, or maybe not, have I been maybe sending messages to Herb, about trying to have him on the show in the near future. So just a little spoiler, a little teaser there.
That would be so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You should invite him to the podcast.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it because you guys who've been hanging out with us here all the way to the 2-hour mark. I did invite Herb. I'm really excited about it. I've been reading his book, and I was like, I gotta have him. And he did accept. So we are gonna have Herb on the podcast.
From teaser to hint to just straight up.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I wanted to ramp up to it. I really wanted to put in a little special tidbit here. We're really excited about it.
I can't believe it, dude.
Herb is coming on the show. We're just working on a date with him, but he did agree. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool. We're gonna have a great show. Hope you guys enjoyed that little spoiler.
Yeah. And also, just a huge thank you to you guys for hanging out with us tonight. It's always fun whenever we have guests, and I also always just enjoy it whenever it's just Nick and I just being ourselves and being goofy and nerding out. So this is why we do the podcast. We want to just talk about astronomy. We want to share what goes on in our brain, and I don't know. We appreciate you guys hanging out.
Agreed.
Okay.
Sorry, were you gonna say something? I cut you off.
I was just reading Tanzanite. I'm not familiar with this character, Katie Coleman.
Oh, she's an astronaut. She's a very famous shuttle era astronaut, Katie Coleman. She's also a musician. She plays the flute. Yeah, I know. My tease needs work. I mean, I figured it's better off that I'm getting the short end of the stick than you guys. You guys should be receiving more than I should be. I fully intended on announcing it. I was just like, let's be cheeky about it and ramp into it in just a funny way. But yeah, it's
So exciting.
I'm glad
Yeah.
to be able to share that information though. That was not a mistake.
She wrote a book this year. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay. Sweet.
All right.
I gotta look that up.
Katie Coleman.
Katie Coleman. Yeah. She's
Eventually,
go ahead.
no.
I was just, but yeah, she's somebody I'd be very interested in talking to 100%.
hmm It would be cool if we eventually work our way up to like maybe Neil deGrasse. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Neil deGrasse. We can resurrect Carl Sagan. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'm working on a reanimation machine.
AIs are probably could do it. To be honest.
Good point. Dude, you just saved me a lot of time and money
Yeah.
and humiliation.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. So we're just gonna shoot for the moon, guys. There's I'm really excited for 2025 because I think, and I'm kind of curious to hear where your head is at on this.
Mhm.
I like the pace that we're going right now. It's a lot more than I thought we would be doing. I mentioned this before in previous episodes, but originally, Nick, we were thinking about just doing this like once or twice a month.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
And at some point we said, you know what, let's just try it. Let's try weekly podcasts, which is kind of insane to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it went something like this. Let's try a weekly podcast every Monday night. Let's try 9 p.m. Central and see what happens. If we feel like we get burnt out or if we feel like it's too much, then we'll slow it down a little bit. What is it? 30? We're on episode 30 now? 29.
29. Yeah.
We haven't skipped a beat. So
Mm-hmm.
I like the pace we're at. I don't really know what the future is going to look like, but I just know that as long as we stay to our core values, we continue to enjoy doing what we do. I just hope and believe that the show, of course, with your guys' support too, this could be something really, really special to share with the world. So thank you for being a part of this right now. Thank you so much.
Couldn't have said it better myself, dude. With that, I want to remind you guys, every Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, here on YouTube, you'll find brand new episodes of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. It's our pleasure to be here to chat with you guys about space and astronomy, and on the occasion, sharing views through people's unique galactic windows, their opportunity to hear the stories of people who and their unique connections to space and the night sky. It's one of the most fun things that I have been doing in my life, period. And I look forward to every single Monday night. It is the joy of a lifetime to be here doing this. And I wouldn't imagine doing anything else at a recurring calendar item than this every week. It's a blast. So, yeah. And I want to thank everybody who decided to support the channel recently, especially tonight. Richard Jones showing up for the MVP, putting in 16 membership gifts. Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Gracious.
Yeah.
Incredibly generous. Thank you so much for that support. I'm still like,
I know.
I haven't picked my jaw up off the floor yet.
Why us? Why us? Thank you so much for believing us. Seriously.
Yeah. Next week, December 23rd, we'll be here once more, and we'll do a special Christmas episode for all of you guys. We have some fun in store, so don't miss that one. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep.
All right.
Dude, hold on.
Oh yeah.
Christmas is next week.
Yeah, Christmas is next week, man.
Oh my god.
Next Wednesday, December 25th.
I should probably start buying gifts then, huh?
I do,
No,
me
I'm just
too.
kidding.
Yeah. Well, good thing for you. We talked about some presents. You know what to
Yeah.
do. You just go out in there
Yeah.
and hit
Oh, man.
buy.
Dude, this year has been flying by.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
has.
cool.
I still think it's January of this year, man. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I still think it's January.
Milky Way season's just right around the corner.
Right.
Wow. Better overnight that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The little tip there. I know we were trying to wrap up the show. A little tip though. The Celestial Buddies. If you guys are serious about ordering those, you can. I'm not sure if you'll get them on time, but here's a little insider trick. Sometimes museums have them, or planetariums or science centers. I've seen them in physical locations. Like NASA has them at their visitor complex at Kennedy. I think I saw them at an observatory somewhere, or like a museum that had like a space section. They had some in their gift shop. So if you have a local place like that, it might be worth giving them a call and asking if they have them, or checking their online store or something. If you're like, oh, I really want to get those and I don't have time to order it, maybe you could pop over to a local museum and they might have them. They might. It's just a little secret of the trade for you guys. So throwing that out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. May your head always be above the clouds. You mean
Ooh.
C words?
I like that.
I love. Yeah, I do. I do like that a lot.
Let's go move to Hawaii and live at the Mauna Kea Observatory. That's usually above the clouds,
Say no
13,000
more.
feet.
And there's a lot of spam there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Hawaii. Yeah, they like the spam there.
I like that.
I like it a lot.
Oh, dude, let's go. All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later. See you in the next video, and we'll see you all on the other side.